Hey guys, welcome to the Minimalist Bucket Bag tutorial. If you purchased a kit at Nikki&Mallory.com, then you should have everything that you need to construct your bag from beginning to end. However, if you're making this from scratch with me at home, then you should be able to follow along with ease. Everything included in this video has been listed in the description box. And also, if you purchased a kit and you have questions, because I will not be speaking throughout this entire tutorial, make sure you email us at create@nikki&mallory.com. All right, guys, I had to jump in and talk over this portion because this is your closure. So as you can see, I took the piece that I am using for my closure and I stitched it on a sewing machine because I wanted this detailing for my closure, right? However, you might not have a sewing machine and it's completely fine. But if you are making this at home from scratch with me, you can go ahead and cut out your 2 strips that you're using to close your bag off. Cut out your 2 strips and then you are going to place them together. So this little area that we just placed together is going to be the area that we hand stitch. If you have a sewing machine, go ahead and bang it out on your sewing machine. But if you are hand stitching with me, especially for my bag making kit makers, you can place these 2 pieces together and hand stitch them together, and you'll see how in just a few seconds. So right here, I'm just creating a stitch guideline, and this is only if you are looking to create this detailing on your strip. For my bag making kit makers, you guys do not have this. You have a nice solid strip. You can always purchase a chisel and a pounding board if you want this detailing. That is a personal preference. If you are making this at home and you want this detailing, all you're going to do is create your stitch guideline and then punch holes going completely down that line. And of course, we're just going to stitch our needle or thread our needle so that we can hand stitch the center closure together for my bag making kits. And then if you are making this at home using the extra added detailing, you can actually start your stitch from the very top of your strip going down, and once you hit that center, just double loop all of those little areas in the center to make sure that it is closed tightly, and then you can finish your stitch throughout. So this note is specifically for my bag making kits. You will start your needle and thread at the first hole of the strip that you're working with. You will not have this many holes. I had to punch extra holes for, of course, the previous demo. However, you're going to align all of your holes up together and they should be even. You'll start from the first hole, you'll stitch going all the way down, complete that stitch line, and then you will reverse that stitch so that you can lock everything off and it's nice and secure. How you'll lock it off is the same way we've been locking off everything else that we've stitched, so that should really be no surprise. Of course, I just stitched a few extra holes down, because that's me. So as you can see, the difference between the machine stitched detailing and the hand stitched detailing, just so you can decide, if that's something you want to even incorporate, but this is how it's going to look. And of course, you're just going to lock it off, exactly how we've been locking off everything else. Wherever your thread ends up from the last hole, you'll just create a double knot close to the base as possible. All right, makers, we are at the very end or getting close to the end of finishing our bag. And the last thing that we need to hand stitch is our strap to the bag. You are going to start with the first hole on the strap, whether it's at the top or the bottom, it does not matter. And then you're going to go through the second hole of the strap and into the second hole of the bag. From there, once you come out that second hole, now we want to make sure we create a lock stitch. So we're going to reverse that stitch, go back down to the first hole. So now you should be coming out the first and then back up to the second hole. Once you have created that double lock stitch in the first two holes, you can now finish your stitch throughout. So go to every next hole after that. Once you have reached the top of that stitch line, then you're just going to reverse that stitch and make sure you go all the way down to the bottom. And from there, you will be able to visually see how I lock this stitch off. The reason why we do this is to hide our knot. If you've taken a class with me, then you know this, but we like to disguise our knot. We don't like any pieces of thread hanging out. As you can see, I finished my stitch, so I'm just going to come back out through the first hole, but not going all the way through. I actually came out the seam of that hole, and I'm just going to create a nice little knot on the end of my thread and try to get that knot as close to the base as possible. If it does not happen, that's completely fine. We're just going to tuck that baby right there and then stitch our other side the same way. I'm not going to stitch that because I don't have time, but I'm going to leave that up to you guys, but you're going to stitch it the exact same way that we just did this side. Once that side is complete, then you will repeat those same steps on the opposite side. Now we're going to move on to attaching or placing our closure through the holes. Now remind you, there is an area in the center of your closure that is stitched together. You just want to be mindful of where that is, so as you put it through the holes, you can navigate it easily. And then after that, you should be able to knot off your closure, and then your bag will be complete. And let me add, if you took your time with your bag, it should look beautifully constructed. My bag, on the other hand, looks a little janky because for most classes, I'm rushing through the whole bag process. There's a lot of areas that I'm looking at on this bag that I would definitely perfect, especially if I'm going to sell it or even wear it out for myself. I'm very particular about my bags. So if you look very closely at any leather design that you make, you guys, please be mindful of how your stitch lines look. Your edge coat application, maybe there's a dry patch that needs some leather conditioner. You know, it does not have to be perfect, but that it is close to perfection. That is the premise of bag design for me. I'm very particular about my bags, and I hope that if you decide to go into business with your leather goods, that you are just as particular. All right, that is the end of our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.